I would also like to greet all the delegates who joined us today over the web. Namaskar to all of you. Sir, as you are aware, auto sector is the largest contributor to the manufacturing GDP, significant source of revenue generation, and a lot of employment, major employer in the country. This sector will play a pivotal role in realizing India's march to becoming a $5 trillion economy by 2024-25. Today, it's a matter of pride for us that the country has successfully migrated directly from BS4 to BS6 emission norms. This has been achieved under your dynamic leadership and able guidance. So what is remarkable is that this has been realized in a record time of just 3 years. I still remember 3 years ago when you had the meeting with all of us and you took a commitment from all of us saying that we must do it within this time frame, and we all agreed to the vision that you set up. This is a testament to our commitment to building the future responsibly and sustainably. The recent past has been a slowdown of the sector due to many contributing factors. The COVID-19 outbreak has only made matters worse. However, we remain eternally optimistic. We have a firm belief in our capabilities and on the core strength of India's economic growth potential. So as we traverse through this turbulent phase, we are also fully confident of the continued support of the government, its commitment for ushering in next generation of reforms, and in taking the necessary steps to revive the economy. The Indian automobile sector has come a long way in adoption of higher safety and emission norms. In order to realize this, the industry has made very significant investments that will still require some time to recoup. Today, we stand at the crossroads with various technological pathways and alternate energy options available for cleaner, greener, and a sustainable future. We need to pause and reevaluate our options, keeping in mind the recent geopolitical developments, our ultimate national objectives, including building a self-reliant India and safeguarding industry competitiveness. Based on this, it is essential that a long-term, stable regulatory roadmap and policy framework is created for the sector. So in this regard, I'd like to bring to your consideration a few points. As an industry, we have always requested that there should be no changes to regulations once they are decided and notified. However, the adverse impact of the pandemic on the industry is unprecedented and would warrant a relook at timelines of future regulations like fuel efficiency norms and BS6 Phase 2. Sir, technology is an enabler for higher safety, emission, and efficiency regulations intended to realize macro national objectives. However, we must also keep in mind that technology is only a means to the end and not the end in itself. Hence, I would like to submit that policy interventions and regulations should focus on the larger national imperatives and be technologically neutral. Globally, this approach has given good results. One good example is the linking of vehicle taxation to fuel efficiency, that is carbon emission. This is a simple, transparent, and impactful approach. Given the multitude of technologies and cleaner alternate fuel options, having a comprehensive integrated national fuel roadmap will help industry make informed investment decisions. For effective regulation implementation, it is also important that the development of enabling technologies should precede the implementation of the regulation. So with this, I'd like to conclude and invite you to share your thoughts. But I have one last point I just want to say. The auto industry has built up a lot of reserves over the years. And in this 1 year, we've almost lost all of it. All the cash reserves and the resources we've built up, we've had a tough time in this 1 year. I would really like your consideration that in the future, as we go along, a new automotive plan is being made in the, a long-term plan should be made with very few changes along the way, and a very clear long-term plan should be made to help this industry reach the pinnacle of the economy as it used to be. Thank you very much, sir. We are looking forward to hearing your thoughts, and we look forward with great anticipation to hear your address. Thank you, sir. I request Mr. Gadkari to speak.
Namaskar. Respectable Vikram Kirloskar ji, Vinod Agrawal ji, and all respectable friends. Industry and media, they are also present. Let me begin by saying that these are difficult times due to COVID-19 pandemic, and however, as we say, the tough times do not last, tough people do. I feel that presently we are all facing the crucial problem because of this pandemic. But I am confident that 100% we are going to win over this war against COVID-19. We will get a vaccine, I am expecting as early as possible. Though it is a very, very complicated and crucial problem the whole world is facing. But I am confident that in due course of time, we will get the solution from all this problem. Today, I have been a part of SIAM's convention of more than 5 years, and now it gives me an immense pleasure to be present at the 60th SIAM Annual Convention 2020, which has been rightfully themed as Rebuilding the Nation Responsibly. A very apart theme from the country at large, as under the leadership of our Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji, we are committed to fast-track recovery from coronavirus outbreak for nation building. I would like to compliment and thank the automobile industry for their enormous contribution in the nation building as a mobility, which being the drive of economic growth is reaching far wide. As one of the largest contributors to the manufacturing GDP of the country and as a sector that has the highest number of employment, a lot stands on the shoulders of this industry in the current times, and it would be my absolute pleasure and duty to resolve the concern of the industry in the interest of the society and the economy. Our vision is to make this automobile industry as a #1 manufacturing hub of the world. Today, all majority important brands are present in India, and the way in which our industry is developing, I am confident that 100% we are marching ahead towards to become a manufacturing hub, #1 hub in the world. As far as e-vehicle is concerned, the way in which our people are working, I am confident that in due course of time, we will definitely give a good leadership to the whole world in the industry, particularly related with this industry. The most important thing is, which is a contribution of this industry, is creating employment potential in the country. And this is the biggest problem. So government is keenly interested to support industry, to increase their productivity, taking more exports, and also every time we are very much trying to find out the solution that how we can reduce the logistic cost. Because without reducing logistic cost, labor cost, power cost, we cannot be competitive in the international market. So now, as a MSME also, we are supporting the industries. We change the definition of MSME also, and I am confident in due course of time, 100% this is going to helpful for the industry. I am quite satisfied that we, along with your industry, have worked in many areas relating to mobility, including road infrastructure. And road infrastructure is very important for the business. We are making now 22 green express highway, and that is going to increase your productivity, because without road, no one is going to purchase the car. So now Delhi-Mumbai express highway of 1 lakh crore, out of which already we have already started 50% work has already started in a full speed, and within 2 years, actually I was targeted for 2.5 years, but within 2 years we will be in position to make this Mumbai-Delhi express highway, where we can take it from Mumbai to Delhi by 12 hours. But not only we are doing this one express highway, but we are doing 7 express highway. In the January, we are opening this Meerut Delhi Express Highway. We are making Delhi to Amritsar, Katra, within 4 hours to Amritsar. Then we are making Bangalore to Chennai, Hyderabad to Nagpur. Lot of good potential highway we are building, and I am confident because of that 100% is going to benefit it to the automobile industry. Still in this COVID period, it's really a pleasure for me that we will increase the road construction. Actually, previously last year it was 30 years, but for this year we will be more than 30 years. And even awards are concerned, we are giving more awards. So the way in which the infrastructure is developing in our country, it is ultimately going to helpful for the industry. As far as the pollution is concerned, it is very one of the crucial issue. So emission norms and environmental sustainability is very important. The ethics, economy and ecology and environment. These are the three important things, out of which water pollution and air pollution is a big concern. You know the way in which we are facing the problem in Delhi because of air pollution. That is really a very, very serious problem. And that is the reason that we need your cooperation. And I am really giving my thanks to all of you for making BS6 standards. Your cooperation was very important, and I am giving my special thanks to industry for giving cooperation for that mission. Regarding road safety and regulations, this is also very important. We have already cleared the bill of road safety from the both houses of the parliament. We are now implementing this all rules and regulations, and I am confident that by which we can reduce the number of accidents in the country. The Tamil Nadu government has successfully, with the cooperation of World Bank, reduced the accidents and death by 25%. So my target is, I am very much sensitive about it, where I need your cooperation also. And regarding the manufacturing of automobile, some regulations, rules, whatever, we have taken a decision, but we are very open. Anytime I will suggest you, if you have any legal, logical, ethical points where you feel that it is the time for government that we should rectify our rules and regulation, we are open and we are ready for discussion. As far as the alternative fuels and fuel choices, that is also important. You know the problem, we have 7 lakh crores of import of crude oil. Regarding the mission of Atmanirbhar Bharat, that is the reason that we are now encouraging the alternative fuels. It is biofuels, ethanol, methanol, biodiesel, bio-CNG, electric, and LNG is the fuel for the future. For the transport, we are encouraging LNG also. We are giving, already fixed up the standard for hydrogen fuel cell and the electric. These are very important sectors. And I am really giving thanks to you and the industry and the research, the way in which it's going on. It is really very, very remarkable and historical. So in the due course of time, we will be capable to use all this fuel, which is going to save our foreign exchange and create more employment potential in the country. One thing I am very much sure about it, by changing the technology, you will get more orders for export, because export potential will be increased. So in a technology point of view, in this alternative fuel and fuel choices, where we need your cooperation. Now presently the Indian economy of ethanol is 20,000 crore. Our idea is to make this economy of 1 lakh crore. I will request you, one of the pending issue from last many days is pending in India. Actually in USA, in Canada, in Brazil, they are using flex engines. All these automobile brands are present in Brazil, Canada and USA, and they are making flex engine. Now government has taken a decision. The company who have a worth of more than 250 crore, they can start their own pumps, petrol pumps. But the condition is they should have one alternative fuel pump also. So my suggestion is, now we are allowing to making ethanol from rice. We have very, very surplus rice and food grains. So now this is the time for the country to convert rice or wheat or even corn to convert into a bioethanol. So we are going to increase the productivity. For that reason, my request is to seriously, I will request to all of you that this flex engine technology, which is already a proven technology, and already your brand companies are using all this technology in Brazil, USA and Canada. Why they are not starting this in India? Because by starting this policy, this can be very much important for the country for reducing pollution and reducing import. I will seriously request you to think about it. There is only some filter from Bosch is there, and that is only by making that it can be already proven technology with all the BMW, Mercedes, Hyundai, Honda, Toyota and Suzuki. All are present in Brazil, US and Canada, and their vehicle of these types are already there. My request is to start. There is no need for research, no need for addition of anything. It is only the same engine, and only by using only changing in filter you can change this. So my request is to please seriously think about it, because immediately we are going to take the decision to giving permission for the companies who want to start their petrol pump and diesel pumps. So in a way they will open the biofuel pumps, ethanol pumps. I feel that it can be a great thing for the country. Regarding digitalization and smart mobility also, we are moving very fast. Even the industry is taking lot of measure by which they are digitalize the technology. That is also a remarkable contribution from the industry. Regarding the smart mobility also, we are on the path. From the government side also, we are giving the highest priority for that. It has been over 6 years since I took over this ministry in May 2014, when road building rate was around 2 km per day. I am happy to inform you that with the support of all stakeholders, current rate of road building per day has averaged 3 km per day, with the highest being 40 km per day of highways. India is now the second largest road network in the world, and being fueled by the tremendous growth in construction of express highway and highways. And this is the most important factor. In the USA, there are two lobbies. Automobile lobby and other people are supporting for the public transports and other things. But I am the person, I don't know whether I am doing good or bad, positive or negative. But creating more road construction, I am going to support your industry. Because of my express highway, road and big construction, your volume is going to increase, which is going to helpful for the industry. No doubt, it is an important thing for the country. My request is again regarding the road safety was another major concern for me. I am happy to note that the industry has progressed a lot in that direction. I am very happy to note that vehicle manufacturers have implemented regulations crucial to vehicle safety, such as crash norms, ABS, airbags, seat belt reminder, reverse parking assistance, VTS, to name a few. These regulations have brought the auto industry in India at par with the global auto industry. This has been possible with extraordinary coordination and commitment of Indian automobile industry. As a regulatory ministry, I cannot be more satisfied. However, I always say that making the vehicle safer alone would not bring down the accidents and fatalities significantly, unless the same is complemented with the right road designs and improvements. When we talk the right road infrastructure, they need to be equipped and future ready. The future of mobility demands integration with infrastructure, and I can assure you that we are progressing towards it. We have made all highways, expressways with demarcated roads and lane marking suitable for implementation of advanced driver assist technologies. The 21st century has been defined by the rise of digital and connected features that have become an integral part of our life. Recognize the impact of digitalization. Motor Vehicle Amendment Act 2019 has promoted use of digital technologies for traffic safety and rule enforcement. With the cooperation of the industry, we were able to successfully implement electronic toll collection with FASTag. I am sure that with its linking to the Vahan portal, FASTag will enable toll crossing seamless and smooth. Infrastructure growth and enhancement is being looked at not only from a point of view of connected vehicle, but also electric and alternative fuel vehicles. I am looking to increase use of alternative fuels. My strong focus is to ensure availability of ethanol fuel across the country consistently. As a presentation of these vehicles increases, the demand for supporting infrastructure such as charging stations and fueling stations will grow and will have to be fulfilled. We will try to bring about an integrated fuel roadmap, defining phase-wise introduction of different fuel options and supporting infrastructure. When I had urged the industry to leapfrog to BS4 from BS6, there was the initial hesitation. However, the industry rose the occasion and delivered on its commitment of BS6 implementation in shortest possible time for the larger benefit of the society. We have achieved the mission of one country with one emission norms. However, I must acknowledge that the transition to BS6 was difficult. I understand that industry had to increase its import due to limited time to develop components and localize. I recognize that the industry has not been immune to disruption caused due to COVID-19. The industry has slowed and the supply chain is affected. Many regulations that were in pipeline for implementation of under development have been impacted. We are looking at possible options to address future regulations until the industry recovers and it's capable to reinvest. Let me use SIAM platform to seek your concerns and constructive recommendations. I want to assure that you will have my full support to have a long-term roadmap for sustainable development so that we achieve nation interest as well as industry sustenance. A more planned approach that takes into account global development, infrastructure readiness, localization, requirement of cost competitiveness will encourage the Indian ethanol industry to become a front runner in the global market. I am expecting your more business in exports because presently for our economy your export is very important. At the same time, if it is going to increase the export, it is going to support ancillary industries, MSMEs, where I am also responsible minister for MSME. So for the MSME point of view also, it is the interest in the country, of the country and the economy of the country to increase our export. At the same time, I feel that Corona has given us opportunity to introspect and focus more on country-specific needs and capabilities. In order to support the vision of our Honorable Prime Minister for building an Atmanirbhar Bharat, we will have to think hard and act harder. I know it is not going to be easy, but with the cooperation, coordination and communication we can make between the stakeholders, and with your cooperation, I am confident that we will achieve this goal. Together we have come this far, and Indian ethanol industry's stellar contribution to the Indian economy is noteworthy. My government is willing to provide every possible support to the industry so that the wheels of economy continue running at a steady pace. I wish your conference all success. I am giving my best wishes to all of you. Be safe, and I will also request you, this is the time for all of us that we need to understand art of living with COVID-19, and I am confident you are all safe. My all best wishes with all of you. For any suggestions, any recommendations, I always have a philosophy, either convince me or convinced by me. So you are open, anytime you can come, you can approach me, even by video conference. I will also discuss with you, with all the stakeholders, and we will find a solution. My best wishes to all of you from my core of my heart. Thank you very much. Namaskar.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir, for your always highly motivating talks. I think, especially in this tough time, it's very good to hear what you said and the support that the government will give the industry, the big construction of the highways. That's the biggest generator of demand. I fully appreciate what you said, and thank you very much for all your efforts and for being with us here today. So we have today Mr. Hormas Saurabh. He's the editor of Autocar India, and he's going to moderate the questions and answers. This is a new format we are trying out at our SIAM AGM, and I think it's working out very well. So, Hormas, can you introduce yourself and please start this session? Thank you.
Thank you, Vikram, very much, and good morning, everyone. Hormas from Autocar India. Shri Nitin Gadkariji, real pleasure to moderate this session with you. We know what how passionate you are about this industry, and I just like to start off on the implementation of BS6 happened when the lockdown was there, but the fact that it was done in record time, I mean, it was like a marathon being run like a 100-meter sprint. And the way the industry has achieved it has been absolutely fantastic. But it has come at a cost in the sense that there's had to be a lot of import of components. There wasn't enough the kind of choices are not available because manufacturers have had to decide on where to deploy the resource. So the point is, or even a concern is that you've asked the industry to jump such a hurdle. Going forward, can we expect a more pragmatic timeline in that sense now that we're moving closer to global norms? Because clearly a well-defined roadmap is needed with realistic timelines to be able to, move forward so that all stakeholders, including consumers, everyone, kind of manages this. So just your thoughts on, going forward, what could a possible roadmap be, for regulations? Because there's been some changes along the way, sudden cost deviations, and I think that's been the biggest impact and disruption as well. So just wanted to know your thoughts on that.
Actually, particularly in this period, we don't to make new regulation and creating more difficulties and problems for the industry. But actually, in many cases, with the request of your associations, even the matter was pending with the Supreme Court also, we have taken a conscious decision and we try our level best to help the industry that how we can resolve the problems. Even in the Supreme Court, our role was very positive, and we have instructed our advocate that it shall be in a situation we don't need to create more problems for the industry, but we should be positive to help them. Regarding this emission norms also, now today I'm really giving my thanks to industry. Even I remember when Pawan Goenkaji is here, when I insisted for him, he is my good friend. He very, very aggressively requesting me, no, sir, this is very difficult, don't do it. But I tell him that, Pawanji, I am confident that because I know your capability and I know when you accept it, your industry and all people will 100% going to do it. So I feel that the industry has really give a marvelous results. Government also from our side, we have completed the promises. The most important thing, it is apart from the business, is air pollution and water pollution is a big problem in the country. You know the way in which what are the problem previously, actually in Delhi is an example, the way in which we are facing this problem. It is not good only to blame automobile for that, but there are a lot of crucial problems related with air pollution and water pollution. But in all these complicated matters, I know there are two sides. It is the time for the country and the society. We need to implement the rules, regulation, and make it to modernize with international standards. But at the same time, we need to understand the industry's limitations. And as far as the capital investment is concerned, present situation, demand and supply position. So everywhere we need to consider all the points. So my suggestion is everywhere, because you are practically running the industry. So we don't know the practical problems. We can experience about it by some discussion and other thing. But the particularly you are on the basically you have to face the problem. So my suggestion to all stakeholders that we need to have a good cooperation, coordination and communication between the stakeholders. As a government is also one of the stakeholder, my ministry is also one of the stakeholder. My suggestion is we should have a interaction on many issues, and somewhere with the help of government and with the help of industry, is it possible for us to moving towards a platform of the retired expert people, and just like we take the help from the retired High Court judge, retired Supreme Court judge, retired bureaucrats. Is it possible for you and me, the most important and people who have great contribution in automobile industry, but now they are retired? We can make a committee, one of the platform where government and you both we can discuss and we can take advice from them, because they don't have any vested interest. So my suggestion to SIAM and all the stakeholders that the retired, independent, impartial, fair people who can think integratedly and think in the interest of industry and the country and the society, and who can guide us, and even to government also we can take guidance from them. If there is any possibility to make such type of platform, then it can be easy for us, because from the government side we have one angle, the industry has also have their economic angle is very important, because ultimately they are doing business. Somewhere the independent, impartial, fair platform of a talented, outstanding, genius and fair people who have experience, who have technical experience in industry, but now those who are retired, we can take the help of their experience and we can resolve many of the issues. I am open for that. If you are ready, we will, you give me the names, some of the retired people from the government, some of the good people from the industry, and somewhere judicious and fair people from the bureaucracy. We can make a think tank, and by which we can resolve the problem.
Thank you, Shri Gadkari ji. I think that's very reassuring, and I think also the industry, everyone appreciates how open you are to industry suggestions. And I think, you raised a very important point, and also a realization that there's a limit on capital these days, and it's not just with the Indian auto industry, it's globally. Capital is very, very scarce, and especially in these times. So, moving forward on so many fuel options, I know, you kind of promulgating methanol for good reasons, but the industry can only invest in not every technology. Globally, also, no company can invest in every technology. So, do you think there should be, let's say, a national fuel roadmap? And a kind of a staggered approach, because if everyone, let's say, moves into whether it's ethanol or electric, CNG, the investment is going to be very difficult. And for the industry right now to be there for the future, they have to kind of make sure that their current technologies remain profitable. They develop the cash, so that cash can then be invested in future technology. So, just your thoughts on a national roadmap for fuel, like a fuel policy.
The policy is import substitute, cost effective, pollution free and indigenous. One of the important thing is the economic point of view. Our imports for crude oil is a crucial problem for Indian economy. At the same time, it is going to create more pollution. The other side, our agriculture is facing problem. We have the quantity of rice which is available with us, where we can give rice to whole world. This is the surplus rice production is there. The wheat is, we don't have even go down storage capacity for wheat and rice now. Then at the same time we have sugar surplus. We are giving 6,000 crore as a subsidy for export of sugar. So these are the problem where government is facing in agriculture, in the surplus production is a problem. So in the interest of Indian economy, in the interest of Indian agriculture. It is the need of the country to diversify agriculture towards energy and power sector. So ethanol is a fuel, is a green fuel. It is going to reduce pollution as compared with diesel and petrol. So exactly it is in the interest of the society. So my suggestion is, what my feeling is, where I may be wrong or correct, I don't know. But this is the apprehension in my mind. Whatever the profits which are getting to automobile industry, how much they are investing in making research and innovation. Actually, innovation, research is the future, because innovation, entrepreneurship, science, technology, research, skilled and successful practices, we name it as a knowledge, and conversion of knowledge into wealth is the future. So I am expecting from the industry that they should have a good technologically research center. And actually in MSME, now I am going to formulate a policy for a scheme that I will help you for making for technology centers, research center, for industry, for skilled and training centers, where building and land belongs to industry, university, IITs, engineering colleges, and machinery will be given by the government. So whatever the new technology for new machines you need, we will give in grant in aid for that, and you can train the skilled manpower. At the same time, you can make the research and development. So apart from the government, I know that majority of the industry is doing excellent jobs, but their success story is because of their innovation and research. I feel that in the Indian scenario, some of the industry, they are successfully making huge number of production and they are getting reasonably good profits, but they don't want to change their product. They don't want to change the technology. They don't have that much infrastructure for research and development. I feel that it is not only in the interest of the country, but it is in the interest of the industry. So the more research, more innovations, more successful practices in the world is going to give you more good business. And in the whole world, in the global economy, every time the models are changed, a technology is changed. Already you are doing lot of things. You are every time launching new models. Why you are launching new models? Because at the same time, the choice of customer is changed. So in a global scenario, when you are changing your models, why you are not thinking about making more investment in the research, training and innovations? And I feel that this can be a future, and it is ultimately on long term will be benefited for the industry. From the government side, we are also ready to support you. I feel that for the long term, it will be in the interest of the country's future, and also in the interest of your business also. So with anywhere from government side, if we can contribute from our IITs, our engineering colleges, our space organization, even our ARAI, everywhere now people are moving. And I am confident that now we have fixed up the standards. We have finalized. The methanol is available in the country. Even Assam Petroleum, then RCF, Gujarat Fertilizer, the methanol is available. So in the China, in the USA, in the Israel, many countries, ethanol, they are using it as a fuel. And everywhere, whatever we are expecting, the technology is available. It is a proven technology. I am not talking about development of new technology by new fuel where we are going to develop new technology. My suggestion is now this is the time for getting good market also. The alternative fuel vehicles also there will be a good market, because in the Indian scenario it is cost effective. Now I am giving an example. The LNG is the fuel for the future. Now conversion of diesel truck onto LNG, the cost is 12 lakh rupees, and you will get this cost back within 2 years, because LNG is very cheap as per point of view. It's a fuel for the future. So this is the time now. Already on our express highway we are planning to start gas stations for LNG, CNG. So this is to be a future, and those who are manufacturing all these new particularly trucks, buses, it is beneficial for them. Now I got opportunity to interact with the construction equipment manufacturers. Some of the companies now they have electric trucks which they are ready to use in the mining area. So our people are doing good experiments. I feel that it is the time for the industry, and I am very much clear about it. It is not only in the interest of the society and the country, but I will request you, all of you, and particularly the Indian origin industries, I will request them that this is the time for you to develop your product, to adopt a new technology, adopt the technology for alternative fuel, and by this good quality of technology is going to add to give you good business. So this is exactly in the global scenario. I feel that industry should not take it as a burden, should not take it as a liability, should not take it as a government is levying some tax because creating more capital investment and giving you some trouble. This is not in our mind, but it is in the interest of all stakeholders. It is in the interest of global economic, which advantage we want to take it when in a world scenario, economic scenario. Now India is a destiny for countries. They will use our all type of equipments, materials, spare parts. They are keenly interested to deal with in India. They want to establish their own technology industry in India. In a scenario, I feel that this type of new inventions, new research, it is very, very beneficial to industry, beneficial to the country, and beneficial to the society. We need to have an approach exactly where it is in the win-win situation for all the stakeholders, and that is my feeling about it.
Thank you, Shri Gadkari ji. And with that, I'd like to, turn your remarks to Vikram Kirloskar from the industry side. Mr. Kirloskar, you've heard what the Honorable Minister has said. And, just straight to the point, the sense is that the profits you are making today from conventional technologies, are you investing enough in alternate fuels, and especially the minister has made a case for ethanol and methanol, not only from an industry point of view, but from a more holistic point of view, which just benefits the country as a whole. That is his view. I just wanted to get your thoughts on, is this viable? What does the industry need to move towards, let's say, alternative, just basically to alternative fuels, and even not only ethanol and methanol, but we've not talked about EVs. How can we have a convention without talking about EVs? So even on that front, what do you think a roadmap should be?
See, I think the minister has given one baseline, which is very important. He said that we have a problem of air pollution and water pollution in this country. So I believe, number one, the direction we go in, and I agree with him, we do have this as a serious issue, is how do we reduce our air pollution, our water pollution, our carbon imprint in the long run. That is our commitment in the Paris Protocol as well. That's our commitment to society. We have to, if we have to have industry trust society and society trust industry, we'll have to take care of the environment. So I think that's the baseline which he indicated, which is important. As we go ahead, I agree with him on ethanol. There's a very great case study, and he's been talking about ethanol for a long time. And I also agree with him that we have not done enough. I think we should do more. I will certainly try my best to do more on ethanol. One of the problems, I think, from the industry side, what I see is typically our product life cycles are about 7 years. We amortize our investment for a model for roughly 7 years. And sometimes for drivetrains and engines or the whole drive system, the amortization could be even as much as 10 years or 12 years. So what happens when you start changing in between, you end up taking impairment on the remaining part of the change. So if you do a model change or a technology change within the 7 years or before 7 years, it hits you very badly financially. And therefore, my request always has been a long-term regulation plan or a long-term vision where you say this is a 15-year plan. We are going to reach world levels in that, but give us a timeline and we don't change those dates. Now, I think that kind of thing will certainly help the industry. Industry has the capacity, as Gadkari Sahib said, that in the technology, in the ability to invest, but it's a 7-year, it's not like an iPhone, I change it tomorrow or something else tomorrow. It requires that much depreciation. We can't manage without it. And we cannot afford impairment if we reduce a model life to from 7 years to 5 years or something. We just cannot afford that kind of impairment. So a longer timeline with dates, a vision on that timeline, and fixed dates for regulation changes and what we expect in terms of either emission or a type of fuel, the fuel policy, will certainly help the industry, and the industry will meet the requirements of the society.
Thank you, Vikram. I'd like to get Mr. Vinod Agarwal also on his thoughts. Especially the commercial, the CB sector has been really badly hit, likely to be the last to recover as well. But in this context of an ambitious infrastructure program, as laid out by Shri Gadkari ji, very exciting. He's really, as he said, given us roads. There can be no doubt about that. The road infrastructure has definitely increased. How do you see the impact on the CV business in the short and medium term, Mr. Agarwal? Sorry, Mr.
Sorry, I was on mute. Namaskar, Gadkari. I think infrastructure investments are extremely important for the economy, and CV industry directly linked to the economy. So therefore, when the infrastructure investments happen, economy improves, and when the economy improves, the CV industry improves. And as a direct benefit also, when the infrastructure investments happen, our trucks are required for road construction. So it means you need more commercial vehicles. And similarly, you need to move more cement, steel, building material. Again, you need trucks for that. Then you need a lot of money gets spent, and a lot of money gets into the hands of various people when the investments happen. So it means the consumption improves. So therefore, I think as the minister, honorable minister, has been absolutely, he has been supporting this road construction for last so many years, and we have made so much progress. I think definitely the current program, which the Honorable Prime Minister also announced during his Independence Day speech, that 105 lakh crores are lined up for infrastructure projects, which are more than 6,500 projects. It means $1.5 trillion are going to be invested in next few years. I think they are extremely, extremely important for the economy and as well as for the commercial vehicle industry. Now, coming to the current situation in the commercial vehicle industry, if you look at the current volumes, we are down to take total commercial vehicle as a whole. We are down to 70% of the last year's 5 months, and last year was already 30% down as compared to 18-19. So therefore, as compared to 2018-19, commercial vehicle industry is down by 80%. So we are extremely down, and within commercial vehicle industry, if you go up, like if you look at the heavy duty trucks, maybe the heavy duty trucks with respect to 18-19 will be down by more than 90%, because first 5 months total heavy duty trucks that have been sold in the country is only 13,000. At good times, our heavy duty trucks used to sell 30,000 in a month. So here we are talking of 13,000 trucks in just the first 5 months. So therefore, I think we are in a very, very challenging time. And when we have to reach the earlier peak, like for example, if we have to reach 2018-19 itself, I think it's going to take minimum maybe 1 to 2 years time. And definitely these infrastructure investments will help a lot in reviving the commercial vehicle industry.
Thanks very much, Mr. Agarwal. And of course, we know that the amount of work that's been done on road infrastructure and, of course, safety under Mr. Gadkari's watch has really gone through a dramatic improvement. In fact, our vehicles are now absolutely at global standards. Gadkari, we'd like to talk to you about that. But I think the main question, which is interesting, and that's really a regulation has come up or an incentive is on this whole thing on battery swapping. What is the real thought process behind it in encouraging this? Is it to kind of obviously it is to make EVs a lot more affordable, but there's also a concern that there could be some safety issues that batteries if they're just being swapped without proper regulation, that could be a concern. So just your thoughts on that.
In this battery issue, one thing which I want to assure you, that we will not compromise with the quality and the standards. We will specify the quality and standards. That is very important. Some of the people in the industry, they are welcoming our decisions, and some of the manufacturers, they have reservation, and the reservation is because of the quality of the battery. So they feel that the battery is not of good quality, and then it can create a problem for the vehicle. So with we will discuss issue with all manufacturers, e-vehicle manufacturers. We will fix up the standards, quality norms. Without that, we will not allow them to fix up to launch their product. And for that reason, I am very, very open for that. So whatever the standards and quality standards, international parameters, which you want to recommend me, on that line, 100% I will assure you that we will not compromise with the quality and the standards. That is that which I want to assure you. Regarding this battery, every time the research is going on. People are giving new alternative, and lot of people are making lot of research. So the technology is changing every time. So even in the world, as far as the e-vehicle and the technology is changing everywhere. So it is very difficult for me to predict ultimately what technology is going to be selected by the people by and large, because ultimately every day there are changes. I am giving you an example. We don't want to make anything from the government side. It should be market should decide. It should be people will decide what type of vehicle they want, what type of quality, what type of they want to purchase the vehicle. It will be decided by the demand and supply ratio, by which the stakeholder, the people who want to take it, they can decide. But regarding the quality standards, we are very much punctual about it. I am not satisfied about some of the bus body manufacturer in the country. We need to rectify lot of thing in the industry, but because of some compulsion we allow them. But I always tell them that it's a time for you to modernize your industry, upgrade the technology, and you should make the work of international standards. So first of all, I am very much committed for the standards, and whatever the suggestion from the industry regarding the standards and quality of battery, regarding the global standards, you give me the suggestion. On that line, we will 100% verify that if the battery is up to the standard, then we will allow them. If some people of them taking advantage of the market and making inferior products, we will not allow them. We will not give them any opportunity to them for the market of for their batteries. So we can take the preventive measures for that. Still, this is a debatable issue, because some of the people are supporting, some of the people are opposing. So again, my request is you should have a forum, independent, impartial, fair forum, those who don't have any vested interest, but their experience, knowledge, on the basis of that they can guide to government and they can guide to industry. So somewhere we need to find out some mechanism for that, and I'm open for that.
Purvas, thank you very much.
Yeah, I was just going to say.
We're running out of time, sir. We've got a lot of questions, but I think we're running out of time. Mr. Goyal is also waiting. Thank you for your answering questions as you always do. May I request Mr. Agarwal to give a vote of thanks and close the session.
Respected Shri Nitin Gadkari ji, Shri Vikram Kirloskar ji, Hormaz Shroff